Dun, 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 dun. Dun, dun, dun,
And it's the vagus nerve that regulates the messages from the brain to the body. And one of the effects of this is that it shuts that pathway. And that's where the body can't regulate to heal itself because it's not getting the messages. When we're exposed to the spiked proteins, one of the first places that it goes to is the vagus nerve, and it'll start attacking the vagus nerve, because the whole point of attacking that is to attack our senses, our internal senses. So that's why you'll find that others who might have gotten this but haven't done any type of healing or detoxing or anything like that, it's almost as if they're like fearless. They could do anything with feeling like invincible, like that there's no consequences, like there's no that they're like superhuman kind of thing. It's a mechanism that the ego starts to play, because now there's no regulating, where instead of the ego being in the driver's seat and wanting the heart to be in the driver's seat, when our vagus nerve is shut down, then it's all ego driven.
Science has acknowledged a mind-body connect as early as 1872. The Orient has had the knowledge of this important connect for thousands of years and has succeeded in developing some powerful techniques to help modulate the mind through the body and vice versa. The human body is a miracle in action. The human nervous system is made of more than 100 billion nerve cells. The nervous system relays information from the brain to the body and back. One of the most important command central for bidirectional communication between the brain and body is the vagus nerve. A nerve probably 99% of the population never heard of nor have a clue of its location. So what is the vagus nerve? Vega in Latin means to wander. This nerve wanders around the body, impacting major organs. This being the longest cranial nerve, it controls all involuntary body processes such as breathing, speech, swallowing, heartbeat, blood pressure, hearing, taste, circulation, digestion, and gut health. It also controls bladder movement, orgasms, and fertility. A healthy vagus nerve allows us to access the parts of the brain responsible for creativity, higher cognition, and complex decision-making. In the absence of a healthy vagus nerve, we only end up having access to parts of our brain that control primal instincts like fear and fight or flight response. Hence, a healthy vagus nerve is essential for leadership and decision-making. The functioning of the vagus nerve can be impaired by stress, anxiety, poor lifestyle, smoking, drinking alcohol, and overworking, lack of exercise, proper nutrition, and sleep. When the vagus nerve is not able to perform to the best of its ability, the body and mind become susceptible to a range of diseases like depression, anxiety, obesity, cardiovascular disorders, hypertension, diabetes, digestive disorders, chronic inflammation, kidney malfunction, infertility, and even Parkinson's. Doctors have started stimulating the vagus nerve with electric impulses from a device that increases its activity to help with diseases like depression. However, there are natural ways to stimulate the vagus nerve as well, such as breathing, pranayama and meditation, exercise, yoga, omega-3 and probiotic-rich diet, singing and chanting, splashing cold water, laughing, hugging, massages. One of the most effective ways of vagus nerve stimulation is through breath. A powerful breathing technique that has positively impacted millions of people around the world is the Sudarshan Kriya Yoga, taught by the Art of Living Foundation. When one undergoes Sudarshan Kriya Yoga, their breathing and heart rate slows down. The vagus nerve then gathers a signal from multiple organs from the body, notes that things must be calm and restful. It then passes on this message to the brain, which 9 times out of 10 will listen and then allow us to relax, rest, and digest. Regular practice of Sudarshan Kriya activates the vagus nerve and has shown to have relieved depression in over 67% of the study's participants, decreased the release of the stress hormone cortisol by 56%, and reduced anxiety in 71% of people. It improves deep sleep and hormones that contribute to well-being. Due to the activation of the vagus nerve, one experiences tremendous benefits after Sudarshan Kriya Yoga, like stress resilience, improved immunity, happiness, creativity, stronger relationships, and ability to handle situations. And empathy, a sense of connectedness, intuition, and mental and physical well-being all become integral parts of life when you keep the vagus nerve nurtured and activated.
Of course, the ego likes all the attention and all that stuff. And I'm not saying we got to kill our ego. I mean, it's part of us. We got to learn how to work with it when we need it. Like when we need an extra push or motivation or determination, then we can call upon the vagus nerve. We can call upon the ego to help give us that extra drive that we need. Things was Berberine, that balancing the hormones. If you take a look at Berberine, do some research behind it. But I believe that it's going to be able to counter what is going on. It's going to counter this sort of well, it is an attack, but it's in various different forms. So you have it doesn't come into the physical form until it's come through the etheric form. And then it goes through our energy bodies before it manifests into our physical body. Let me say it like this. There was a very deep wounding for you about 14 years ago. And 14 years ago, part of this energy that I tracked back is finding its way in through the wound of 14 years ago. And if you come at it, because it's a multi-dimensional energy that you're dealing with. Mm-hmm. So you don't want to use linear medicine for a multi-dimensional issue.
Dun, 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 dun.
Some of the things that are going to add more pressure is the pressure that's on the planet itself. Mm-hmm. And because you're so in tuned with Mother Earth, that you're also picking up a whole bunch of that while you're trying to deal with this attack on the vagus nerve. And the entry point of that is like we've gotten over, that started from 14 years ago. And sometimes we do our healings, we work through stuff at various layers, and then as we get older and as we go through other experiences, other perspectives come up that we wouldn't have seen like 10 years ago or 15 years ago or 20 years ago that we would see today. And so when we go back to look at some of these woundings, we'll be able to see that, there was this one little thing that was still, because we didn't have the perspective back then from our experience now,
Right.
to understand the fullness of all the layers.
Mm-hmm.
Naturopath is an absolute, but try to go get your blood work done first from a separate lab on all the hormones, so that you have a starting point to say, this is where I started. And then in a month from now, or maybe 3 months from now, you do another set of blood work to say, so that it's also part of recognizing that the mind needs to see proof. The mind needs to see evidence, whereas spiritually we don't, but the mind does. So you got to incorporate all the layers of yourself into your healing journey for that. Please look into Berberine too.
Berberine is getting more and more attention as the next miracle supplement. Many promote it for its cardiovascular and metabolic benefits, especially in people with diabetes, heart disease, and high cholesterol. And some take it for its anti-inflammatory effects, or as an immune boost that helps fight viral or parasitic infections. Well, in this video, I'll tell you which of these claimed benefits actually have any evidence to support them. I will also talk to you about who should, and more importantly, who should not be taking Berberine, and go over the safety profile. Hi, I'm Dr. Leonid Kim, and on this channel, I discuss the most up-to-date and evidence-based information on the topics of metabolic health, weight loss, and longevity. Let's get into it. Berberine is an alkaloid derivative that can be isolated from many kinds of medicinal plants. It's been used in traditional Chinese and Ayurvedic medicine for thousands of years, with uses ranging from diarrhea to type 2 diabetes, and even in the treatment of certain types of cancers. Animal studies have shown additional benefits with weight loss, improvement of gut health and inflammation, as well as in the treatment of fatty liver and heart failure. One of the most studied effects of berberine is its effect on glucose metabolism and cholesterol. A meta-analysis of 27 randomized controlled clinical trials that included over 2,500 patients showed that berberine has effects on diabetes type 2 that is comparable to other therapeutic regimens. More specifically, one study of 36 adults with newly diagnosed diabetes compared the effects of berberine versus metformin and found that berberine reduced hemoglobin A1C by 2 percentage points, which was similar to the change seen in the metformin group. In fact, compared to metformin, berberine exhibited an identical effect of fasting blood glucose levels, as well as in fasting and postprandial insulin levels. And when it came to cholesterol, the berberine group showed a significantly lower levels of triglycerides when compared to metformin. A subsequent study of 97 patients with diabetes found that berberine lowered fasting blood glucose by 28%, which was similar to the effects seen in the subgroup treated with metformin or another diabetes medication called rosiglitazone, brand name Avandia. This study also noted a decrease in insulin levels in patients treated with berberine, suggesting an improvement in insulin sensitivity. Now, when it comes to cholesterol, berberine also seems to be quite beneficial in treating lipid disorders. There was a small but a randomized placebo-controlled double-blinded study of 106 subjects with type 2 diabetes and dyslipidemia, and found that the treatment of berberine for 12 weeks not only improved blood glucose levels and triglyceride levels, but it also lowered LDL levels by 21%. And this finding falls in line with an older study published in Nature that found berberine to decrease LDL by 25%. And there was an interesting study published in Metabolism that performed a head-to-head comparison between berberine and simvastatin, a common statin medication. And what they found was the group that was treated with berberine had a much better LDL reduction compared to the simvastatin group. And on top of that, the combination therapy of simvastatin plus berberine gave an even greater reduction in LDL at a whopping 31%. Lastly, there are recent animal studies that highlight berberine having a weak activity against inhibiting PCSK9, which is an enzyme that is a target of a newer class of cholesterol medications like evolocumab, brand name Repatha. Other studies note berberine modulating your microbiome, which in turn promotes your metabolic health by increasing GLP-1 hormone, which is the basis of the insanely popular weight loss and diabetes drugs like Ozempic and Mounjaro. Now, let's discuss who should and should not be taking the supplement. Is this a good supplement to take for someone who has diabetes or cholesterol problems? Well, despite all the impressive studies we went over, those studies are still tiny compared to studies published on most diabetes and cholesterol medications. So I personally would still favor common medications like metformin or a statin over berberine. The number of people studied taking these prescription medications just dwarfed the small studies that looked into berberine, and the formulation of the prescription drugs is also highly regulated, unlike what you see in the supplement industry, where it's often hard to know for sure if the product you're buying has the right therapeutic dose and actually contains the medicinal components advertised. But if you are, for whatever reason, are not able to take common oral diabetes medications or statins, it may be worth it to talk to your doctor to see if berberine can be added to your treatment regimen.
Very, very importante. Very importante. Sometimes we can go through so much and we become accustomed to carrying so much, and after a while it's like, hey, but like we feel good, we still feel good, but imagine if we hadn't carried all that for that long, for that many years, how good we'd really feel.
Right. I 100% agree with that. I know that in the past I have been very, very bad at just trucking on when you feel like garbage, but it's like, you know, all of a sudden you get a day where you don't have this anymore or whatever, and you're like, whoa, I feel great today. What is going on? Oh, it's because I don't feel like this anymore, you know? So like, I mean, today is a testament to that, but I've in the past, I've been real bad at remembering to, you know, take care of myself. So, you know,
you got the A-team. You got Soul Family A-team.
Yeah, heck yeah.
A-team Rooster One.
I pity the multidimensional fool.
Is that everyone? Like you wanted more?
Avengers!
Assemble.
No!